Hello everyone, and welcome to this year's MCPS, CRT-Alt Science, and CRT Science Test Administration video. This year, the CRT-Alt for Reading and Math and the CRT Reading and Math will no longer be administered. Instead of the CRT, the new alternate assessment, MCPS and CSC, will be used. More information can be found at the OPI website, and updates will be coming to you soon from the district. CRT Science and CRT Alt participation and materials. Who participates in the CRT? All students grades 4, 8, and 10, students attending 180 hours or more, from Montana accredited schools, the IE, Montana Youth Challenge Academy, Job Corps. Students not included in participation are students who are homeschooled, attend private non-accredited schools, students in treatment centers and non-accredited correctional facilities. However, students that are part-time enrolled will test in resident schools. Testing windows for the 2014-2015 school year. The CRT Alt Science will be administered from February 17th through March 24th. The CRT Science will be administered from March 3rd through March 24th. As we move into the testing season, it is important to be prepared. Familiarize yourself with the CRT and CRT Alt manuals. Those can be found at the OPI website and will also be included in an email to all test administrators. Ensure all building test administrators are properly trained by viewing this video. Ensure students' needs are met. Identify students who need to be registered for the CRT Alt. This has already been done for this year, and students have been coded in the AIMS website. Identify students who qualify to use test accommodations for the CRT Science Administration. If there are students you feel need test accommodations, it is important to meet as a team to make sure that those accommodations are also coded in AIM. Order large print test booklets if needed. CRT Alt administrators. Mark the alternate assessment checkbox under the statewide assessments editor of the student's current locked IEP in your AIM system. Again, this has already been taken care of for this year, but is included in this tutorial for future reference. If you do not mark this box and a new IEP will not be written before January 23rd, 2015, you will need to create an amendment on the current locked IEP in the AIM system and check the alternate assessments box. Please make sure your student's current IEP is locked in the AIM system, as OPI is unable to extract the statewide assessments information on IEPs and/or amendments that are unlocked. And please make certain that the box is checked by January 23rd, 2015 to ensure your alternate assessment students are registered. Large print ordering. Large print test booklets can be ordered from the Measured Progress iServices website. Note, pre-ordered large print text booklets will arrive with the test shipment shipped from Measured Progress in early February. Large print test booklets can also be ordered as an additional material after your primary shipment arrives. Guidelines for accommodations. Accommodations are available to all students on the basis of individual need, regardless of disability status. Decisions regarding accommodations should be made by the student's educational team on an individual basis, consistent with their previous accommodation decisions for the student or current educational needs. Any accommodations used during testing must be consistent with those used during the student's regular classroom instruction and assessment for at least 3 months prior to testing. Standard accommodations are changes in the way a test is administered or responded to by the student who is being tested. Non-standard accommodations change what is being measured by the test and will result in the student being reported as a novice. They are available only to IEP and LEP documented students. Double-starred standard accommodations are intended for use with students identified as IEP 504 LEP. These accommodations must be listed in the student's IEP, 504 plan, or LEP plan. In unusual circumstances, approval may be requested for a general education student not identified as IEP, 504 LEP, To be administered the CRT with an accommodation keyed with a double star. For prospective cases in which the request is not related to a medical emergency, the guidelines below should be followed. The accommodation has been in place and used regularly in classroom instruction for at least 3 consecutive months. A team made the decision about the appropriateness of the accommodation for instructional and formalized assessments. There are data to demonstrate the effectiveness of the accommodation for the student on formalized assessments. The accommodation is used in the administration of all other formalized assessments, such as chapter tests, unit tests, and other tests administered to groups of students. See tables on the following slides for directions to request approval. This slide indicates online reporting and registration sites where relevant information can be found for the MCPS assessments. I recommend this slide and the following slide be printed out for future reference. This slide supplies links to online reporting and registration for the varied assessment measures used by the Montana assessment system. Important resources and references are available on the OPI Conference Assessment website. At that site, you can find guidelines and procedures for test security, accommodations manual, CRT test coordinators manual, CRT test administration manual, and the CRT test administration materials. Important resources can also be found at the Measured Progress iServices website. At that site, select Montana or Montana Alternate Assessment from the drop-down menu to select a service. You can register for upcoming CRT and CRT alternate test development meetings, order large print test booklets, access the online reporting system, MARS, accessible for administrators, download additional forms and manuals, order additional testing material. Beginning last week, test materials were delivered out to the buildings. Prior to delivery, all items were inventoried at the district office. As materials come into the building, please indicate the quantity received on the material summary sheet included in your box. Test preparation, student labels, and answer booklet coding. Label data was extracted from AIM. All students enrolled at your school in AIM on January 23, 2015 should have a label. A student label is valid when the state student ID matches the student being tested regardless of the accuracy of the other information on the label. All demographic or label data errors should be reported to the AIM staff at OPI immediately. If you did not receive a label for a student, you must bubble boxes A, B, D, and E on page 1 of the answer booklet. Teacher information was also included in the AIM extract. If a teacher name was included in the AIM sort by field, it will be printed on the label. The CRT AIM count date is March 19th. Enrollment and participation updates need to be completed in AIM by April 3rd. Keeping your AIM data correct and up to date will ensure the accurate reporting of participation and assessment results. It is important to note that all information in AIM will also be used on the Smarter Balanced Assessment. Reporting errors that are identified as a result of improper coding in AIM or on the student answer booklet will not be rectified in MARS. Any errors identified as a result of improper handling by Measured Progress will be fixed and results will be reposted on MARS. This is an example of what the student barcode label looks like. Unused barcode label form. One form will be included in each school grade shipment. This form may be copied or downloaded. This form is used to identify those students who you received a barcode label you did not use for any reason. The form is school-specific but not grade-specific. Thus, multiple grades can be included on one form. In some cases, only one form may be needed per school. Return the form loose in any grade's used answer document box. This form does not take the place of the required MCPS online report of student non-participation. Student answer booklets, grades 4, 8, and 10, CRT and CRT-Alt. Use of markers and highlighters allowed only in test booklet, not on the answer booklet. Page 1 bubbling. label or no label, test booklet, and form number. On the student answer form, if you did not receive a label for a student or it was damaged, boxes A, B, D, and E must be bubbled. Required for grades 4, 8, and 10. Printed on the cover of each test booklet is a form number 1 through 4. The test booklet form that a student tests with must be bubbled here in box F. This is the place where you will affix the student label. Student answer booklet, page 2. Section 1. Student not enrolled. Do not use. Students enrolled less than 180 hours and taking a reading or mathematics course, or first year LEP bubble. Section 2. Accommodations. For more information, see the TCM and OPI's Accommodations Manual or the OPI Guidelines for Accommodations. CRT alternate students should not have any accommodations bubbled. Do not use Section 3. Transferring scores, large print, and Braille. Students taking the CRT in the large print or Braille format may mark their responses in the actual test booklets. If this is the case, the test administrator must transfer the student responses from the test booklet to the student's answer booklet for the student to receive a score. Transferring scores, CRT-Alt. For students who took the CRT alternate, scores must be transferred from the test booklet to the answer booklet, and the yellow teacher questionnaire should be bubbled in the state use only in the section of the answer booklet, page 2. Test administration. Test security. Test coordinators and administrators are prohibited from disclosing the contents of CRT assessments. All test questions are secure. Under no circumstances should test booklets or marked answer booklets be reviewed, circulated, duplicated, or discussed. The only exception is for the administrator who needs to read to the student who is taking the test with a modality accommodation. All system test coordinators and school principals should be familiar with the OPI guidelines and procedures for test security provided by OPI. This OPI publication outlines reporting procedures for test irregularities as well as a sample of the online reporting form. The form must be completed and submitted to OPI within 5 days of the incident. More information on test security can be accessed at the OPI conference website. Test Administration Manual for the CRT. The Test Administration Manual, or TAM, should be read by all staff involved with administering the CRT. Instructions for test administrators. The manual contains scripts that should be read to all students before all test sessions. Scripts and directions must be read exactly and not changed. Use of the test script helps ensure a uniform test-taking experience for all Montana students. Test security. Suggested testing times. Accommodations. Test administration materials, CRT-Alt. The CRT-Alt test booklet. The CRT administration manual. Test material kit. And return materials. Important CRT-Alt dates. February 3rd through 7th, system test coordinators will download and print CRT alternate test administrator manual and test booklets to distribute to test administrators. These have already been printed and sent to the buildings. If you are missing any of the materials listed, please contact your system test coordinator. February 12th through 17th, the CRT alternate test material kits and return materials arrive to system coordinators to disseminate to the teachers. This too has already been done. If you notice that you are missing any materials, please contact your system test coordinator. March 26th is the last day for the system to ship CRT alternate test and CRT materials to measured progress. Post-test and return of materials to measured progress. Post-administration. When test administration, including makeup tests, is complete, collect materials and verify that there is an answer booklet for each student tested. Inventory those test booklets. All test booklets will be returned to measured progress. Missing test booklets constitute a testing irregularity. Check that the answers for students who used a large print test booklet, Braille, or the CRT-Alt have been bubbled into the student answer booklets. Verify that each student answer booklet has a barcode label or has the appropriate name and student ID bubbled on page 1. Check page 2 for appropriate coding. Complete required online test security agreements. This is a requirement for all principals and the system test coordinator. Test security agreements. By visiting iServices site, you can submit your test security agreement. Select the system and your role, enter the requested information, and then submit your form. A confirmation page will show all entered information. Be sure to click Confirm to complete this process. Again, this is a step necessary for just the principals and the system test coordinator. Packing instructions. Used answer booklets. Used answer booklets are to be returned in the boxes labeled for the return of used answer documents. Boxes must be shipped to Measured Progress no later than March 26, 2015. Boxes should include grade-specific, for return of used student answer documents envelopes containing used answer booklets, including alternate answer booklets. Special handling envelopes if necessary. Completed voided unused barcode label form if necessary. Please return all boxes to Krista Anderson at the warehouse by March 23, 2015 in order to inventory and ship to Measured Progress. Packing instructions, CRT test booklets and unused materials. Put all test booklets and unused materials into the boxes. Seal and apply the UPS ground labels that you received in the initial shipment. Please do not place the ground label over the seal as all materials must be re-inventoried by the system coordinator. March 26, 2015 is the deadline for the district to ship booklets and unused materials, including unused answer booklets. CRT test booklets and the unused answer booklets are to be kept secure, inventoried, and accounted for prior to returning them to Measured Progress. Any missing booklets are considered a security breach and will be treated as a serious testing irregularity and could impact AYP results. See page 16 through 18 of TCM for more detailed instructions. Packing instructions, CRT alternate test material. Materials should be packaged separately in the white plastic envelopes, one for each student, marked for return of CRT alternate test materials. The envelope should contain CRT alternate test booklet with student name and ID written on the cover. Teacher recording evidence form in the test booklet. Material replacement form if necessary. Alternate answer booklets should be included in grade level envelopes and shipped in 2-day boxes with CRT science answer documents. Return completed CRT alternate assessment envelopes to your system test coordinator for shipment to Measured Progress. The accordion file material kit should be returned to your system test coordinator to be stored securely for future use. Reporting. Montana Analysis Reporting System, MARS. Assessment results will be reported by noon on June 15, 2015. You can access MARS via the iServices website. Passwords will remain the same. This site is accessed by administrators only. Password information may be obtained from OPI. New password requests are to be through OPI as well. Parent letters and labels will be shipped the first week of September, and PDF files of the parent letters will be posted on the reporting section of MARS. Contacts. Local contacts for questions or information about the CRT or other ModCAS assessments are Special Education, Kathleen Marison or Virginia Haynes, System Assessment Coordinator, Krista Anderson. You can also contact your principal or your building test coordinator for general questions and information. OPI contacts are Ashley Markowski, she's the assessment assistant for ACT specialty, Yvonne Field, assessment specialist for ELP and the NICSIC, Pam Birkland, who is the primary contact for the digital library, Paula Schultz, Smarter Accommodations, and Judy Snow, the state assessment director. Once again, please contact your local contacts first. Measured Progress Service Desk. For Smarter and for the Science CRT and CRT-Alt, calls and questions can be directed to the phone number listed, or you can email the address provided. This concludes the webinar for this year's 2014-2015 CRT and CRT-Alt Science webinar.